Hello and welcome to the Mega Agent Collective podcast. I am so excited to have another segment of Meet Our Partner. And today I have the honor and the pleasure and the excitement of introducing one of the gals that I refer to as my new business bestie, Tabitha Sanchez out of New Mexico in the Albuquerque area. Hello, my friend.
Hi.
How are you?
I am great. How are you?
I'm excited. I love when I get to do something that I'm excited about. I mean, can we be honest? Like, we don't get excited about everything in our day. So I look at my calendar because I live by it. And so I looked at my calendar and I was like, Tabitha's up next. Yay. So I love that. Okay. So Tabitha, how long have you been in real estate? Let's learn a little bit kind of about how long you've been in real estate and what your real estate career kind of has looked like.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am actually going on a full decade this spring. So I'll be 10 years in the business. I have worked for multiple different companies throughout my career, tried all the different big brokerages and things like that. I was on a team, I was off a team, I had my own team. So I've kind of been around the block a little bit. So
oh my gosh, I love that you said that because I always say it and Jordy's like, you shouldn't talk about how often like it doesn't sound good. She's like, you're a brokerage hopper. And I was like, not quite, but so I have a loaded question, like right to it. Like we didn't even get to the transition yet. So we'll back up in a second. But do you feel like you found home? Do you feel like you found home?
Yes. It took me a second. I'm going to be honest. When you and I initially talked, actually, I had a lot of reservation, a lot of questions. And again, just as I said, I've been around the block a little bit. So you get a little bit from each brokerage, right? You get, there's pros and cons to everywhere that you go. But I don't think I've ever found a place where I truly felt 100%. So it took me a second, but once I jumped on, it was like an immediate aha. It was that aha moment that we all look for. So,
I love it. I'll tell you the truth. I get it 100% because I've never felt completely convicted to my core that I had found my brokerage and I had found my home. Like I've just never felt that. Not to say that I haven't had the honor also of like getting to be in business with some amazing people and learning and growing. And I've had people, like one of the hardest things was, making the moves because of the people. There were people I didn't want to leave, right?
Yes.
And the funny thing is, I'll be really honest, when I came to EXP, I didn't initially feel that even once it happened. I went to my first EXP con and I saw the value. I saw the collaboration. I saw the ability to scale my business and sell more houses than I had ever sold. But I didn't see my people. Not to say that my people above me, my upline partners, I mean, they're beasts, they're amazing, they're the best in the business. So honored next week to get time, with Kyle Whistle in San Diego, who's selling, 700 plus homes a year and scaling multiple offices. And wow, I mean, like talk about fast forwarding my track to success, right? But it just wasn't like my best friend that would come through my front door. And maybe that's an unrealistic expectation to have in work. But I was like, okay, next year when I come back to EXPCon, I got to make sure my people are here. And oh my gosh, has God blown my mind, because now, like today, I'm sitting on this call with you. And now not only have I found the brokerage that's model and education and opportunities and collaboration have changed my production business forever. But now I get to build this second component where I have these business partners that have forever changed my actual excitement in the business and my desire to exist in it. And I think that was like the final thing that took me to like, I'll never leave. Like who would ever not stay in a brokerage that everything's working and you now have literally assembled all of your people from across the country to be your support system and your mastermind? Like who would ever, right?
No, I completely agree. And I've done like I said, every brokerage has their piece. So, I've gone to a brokerage because of the training. I've gone to a brokerage because of the feel of the office. You have that instant like home feeling when you walk in and everybody's loving on each other. I've gone to a brokerage because the commission splits were phenomenal. You pay a small fee and the next thing you know, you're making 100% commission.
Well, you came from Realty One, which actually has some good splits and they have some attractive marketing, right?
Absolutely. So, I mean, I really did. I mean, I've done different places where I found certain things in each place that really helped me feel comfortable and made me feel good. But I kept, the more and more we talked about EXP and the more and more I started researching it, I started really seeing the value. And once I finally made the jump and I just did it, it was like I still wasn't 100% when I made my move. I was still a little unsure, just like any move you make, it's scary. It's the what ifs. And, did I make a mistake? Is this going to be the right fit for me? Am I going to move again? And so it was like instantaneous. I've never felt something like that in my business. And again, I've been in the business a while. So to have that feeling, it was like an instant, this is where I belong. This is my home. A lot of it was just the people. I mean, you had mentioned that you didn't find your people up front. I found my people up front, and that was awesome. So thank you, because you are so awesome, and I just love you guys. But honestly, it's like I got that instant gratification from that, and then I just hopped on one training, and it was like mind blowing. And so from there, I have just rolled with it, and I keep finding more and more value in everything. And I keep seeing the opportunities and the potential of where I can take this and how I can actually, get that passive income that no other brokerage offered. And I mean, I did go to, I had one company that you would get profit share. Well, I wasn't getting much from that. So ultimately, looking at the opportunity that I have here, I'm just like completely mind blown, and the possibilities are just endless. And that's huge for me.
Yeah, it's powerful. I know you and I talked about the fact that we were kind of in some of the same crossroads in our career where, we're so thankful to have built these successful production businesses, right? But it's like January 1st, it's a reset. Unlike, like the financial managers of the world who get to build that residual portfolio, or the insurance agents of the world. With real estate, on January 1st, we're back to square one. And so the foundation company that we need behind us has never offered more than making sure that hamster wheel resets on January 1st. All right, you got 80 last year, and these are all the ways we're going to support you to get 80 this year. Or if you're really, aggressive and committed, we're going to support you to get 100 this year. And this is how we'll teach you to build that team up. But still, that is not, it's just not to say, and this is the place to come to scale up production, but it's just so relieving and almost freeing to know, hey, I could be a mentor, right? And I wouldn't have to go find these agents to mentor. I wouldn't have to go and pitch my value add to these agents. I can just be a mentor inside of EXP, and I can pour into other agents and help them and raise the bar in my industry and get a compensation for that. Or I can
huge fun.
Yeah, right.
Because I just got certified as a mentor. So
yay, I love that.
That was super exciting. But that's really awesome because I love helping other realtors. I truly do. And I've been like that since close to the beginning. Obviously, it took me a moment to figure myself out. But once I got there, it was like being able to pour into other agents and help them, and knowing where I struggled when I first got in the business, and knowing how hard it was, and just feeling lost and feeling alone and not having anybody to go to just to ask those simple questions of, how do I get business? What do I do? And so having the ability to be a mentor without having to have my own team was huge, because I don't have to be responsible, but I still get to help people on this super high level. And that is what is really exciting.
I love that you said that. And I want to unpack that a little bit for anybody that's listening that kind of might not understand that. And that's how we actually came to align. You had come into my coaching company, Real Estate Mega Moms. You had come into the foundations where we really help you to build the team and to set a team up. And so I want to unpack that a little bit because, yeah, the traditional model is join my team and I'll mentor you. And now we have the ability to mentor agents that we didn't even attract to the company, but that already are at the company, and we can mentor them and be incentivized. We have the ability to attract agents to the company and not just mentor them because you want to deliver value to them, but to be the resource that taps them into limitless resources that can fast forward their career. And you and I, as team leaders, both know that teams have had a cannibalistic aspect to them forever, because the team leader pours their heart, their effort, their energy, their money into building the teams, into helping build the agents' careers alongside the agents' hard work, and the agents pour into this. And then there's often a crossroads where, for one reason or another, whether it's growth, whether it's, personality styles, whatever it is, there's, the moment where it's not working anymore. And that's kind of where it ends. And it's like, okay, now I've poured into this agent, and this is where it ends. And oftentimes, that even means that agent doesn't stay at the brokerage, because the broker, which I've sat in this seat as a broker, wants to make the team leader happy, and it would be awkward to have the agent. So it's like the agent can't even stay at the company anymore. And I met with an agent at the beginning of the year, and I was like, let's just revamp your team. Like, let's revamp your team. And for what you have going on, what if you just do a 2-year training program where agents join your team? You get the benefit of the additional commission split. You get to pour into them. You help them build that, and then you graduate them, and they become agents at EXP. And so that was the other component that blew my mind about EXP, is that it allowed us to continue to support people even when we no longer matched up at where we started at, right?
Right. Absolutely. Because I actually, going back to when I was on a team, that was the thing, is I ran my course being on the team, learned everything I possibly could. And then I was like, okay, well, now where do I go? I'm the top producer on the team. I don't have anything else to really learn from the team. And now I'm seeing I can do this all by myself. So at that point, it was like, all right, well, I'm going to leave on my own. Left on my own. And I had that weird, awkward moment where I was like, do I stay at this company? This is all weird. And it's just a weird transition. And then the only way for me to finally feel like I could start back up and get fresh was to start at a new company. And so that's where I moved, because I didn't feel right about the split. It was like I was breaking up with my team leader. So I went out on my own. And then I realized, gosh, I could do this. Like, I really like helping people. I want to mentor people. I want to help other realtors and build my business. So I started my own team, totally by accident, but it happened. And
that's how the best ones start.
And then from there, I ran with it. And I got to a point where I was like, okay, just like you said, I was pouring my heart and soul into my team. I was constantly doing the, morning motivational messages. We were doing weekly meetings. And half the time nobody showed up, or I was like, okay, what am I doing? I'm putting all this time and effort and spending all this money to help them. And I'm not, you can only do so much for somebody. If they don't want it as bad as you want it for them, it's not going to ever work. So Crystal. Hi, Crystal.
That is one of Tabitha's newest agents that has joined us. Sorry, my follow-up boss is ringing.
No, it's okay. So yeah, that was totally my thing, is I just got tired of feeling like I was at a loss. And so when I realized the opportunity I had at EXP was, kind of sounds silly and cliche, I guess, I could have it all. And I was able to finally go, okay, I can be a solo agent all by myself, do my thing, hustle my business the way I've always done it, but also still be able to help other realtors on the other end, be able to mentor them and still help them, but at the same time make a profit and feel like I'm doing something good, and it's benefiting me in some sort of way. So that opportunity was huge. And then just the opportunities of being able to build relationships with realtors across the nation, that has been huge, because we get so consumed with our local market that everybody does the same thing here. So if you're following all the top producers in your local market, you start to realize all of them look identical. They're all doing the exact same thing. They're all sending out the same marketing. So it's kind of crazy to watch it, because then all of a sudden you're like, well, I don't stand out at all. And now I'm watching all these other realtors in other states and other places, and I'm just completely in awe, watching the things that they do and the information that they've given, and just a little bit of time I've been doing the trainings is just phenomenal. It's changed everything.
Right. When you talk about that, it's just the macro versus the micro mindset, right? And I would have never come to EXP if I was looking at my local market. And let's be honest, there's a good chance you wouldn't have either, without being, too direct. We had reservations with, maybe the people that weren't who we would see ourselves aligning with were in work. And we had reservations with different things on a local scale, but we were able to look at it on a national and on a macro. And like, what does that mean when we can actually hover above our business and we can see what we could potentially expose ourselves in our business to, right? The power of what we don't know comes out. And that has been a game changer. I mean, I run an EOS system now. And if you talk to me for like 10 minutes on any given day, I will talk to you about a visionary versus an integrator role. And I will talk to you about the different departments in the marketing. And that all came from the day that I was brave enough to put my big girl pants on and say, this is scary. And I'm not going to be in brick and mortar here in Reno, Nevada with the people that I'm used to. And I'm not going to have that security blanket, but I'm going to go see what this whole world is about. And now my dreams and my vision and my production business and my income and my time are, oh my gosh, they're more than I could have ever imagined. And I'm finally escaping the most captivating and broken metrics of our industry. You know, the things that define our success, the GCIs, the awards, right? Like, oh my gosh, when I left Remax before I got my Hall of Fame award, it was like devastating. And now I'm like, I honestly don't care if I ever get an award because I'm living this life that's so fulfilling, right? And now everything has changed for me. I came over, learned how to scale a team, increase my production, increase my profit, and was ready to do it. I was like, let's do it. I'm going to bring on 4 agents every quarter. And this is kind of you were like in the foundations program and you were like, all right, let's do it. Because that's all we knew was like to scale this traditional production team. And let me tell you, there's no better place than EXP to scale a massive production team. But for you and I, it was like, wait a minute. I can do something completely different and live in a place of less expectation, more time, more life by design, and I can still empower all of these. Now I can appeal to agents at volume. So it's the agents that want to show up, right? Action-based coaching.
Right. Absolutely. No, I feel the same way. Like I mean, gosh, I even think about things like how much money I've put into trainings. I mean,
Right.
I've looked at trainings across, in other states, big coaching companies and things like that that's nothing that anybody else here is even looking at. But I look at the amount of money I've put into those trainings, and then I look at the trainings I'm getting for free now that I'm at EXP.
Oh my gosh.
Girl, what was I doing?
Tabitha, I'm telling you, every time, you know how when you're dating somebody, and this is probably a bad analogy because obviously it's not dating. You know when you're dating somebody, each time you go on a date, you're like, okay, is this too good to be true? Like, when do we hit our moment that we're like, oh, we're different people, right? Like, we just don't see eye to eye. Every time I talk to you, I wait for the other shoe to drop. Not really. I don't think it's ever going to. But when you said that, like, oh my gosh. So to speak, nothing ill of the core, if you know the core, Rick Ruby is, I mean, he's intense. I was very, very fortunate that, one of my mentors was a core coach. And so I got a lot of byproduct coaching, and then I joined the core. Right. And again, this is a testament not to discredit the core because they are amazing and they will change your P&L. Let me tell you. But to just talk to the collaboration, I was like 2 months in at EXP and I was going to these masterminds, like you're saying. And my aha was, I'm getting as much, if not more applicable value to my business in my mastermind with my partners here at EXP that I'm getting over here. So I can leave this multi-$1,000 coaching behind. And it was like, again, but it's that mindset, right? Because we always look at what we're going to spend. And it was just crazy. Like, I just was like, I didn't expect to have a savings by coming to EXP, and savings just continue. Like, they just continue in so many different facets. And so I love that you said that.
Yeah, it's true though. I look at how much I spent and I'm just like blown away because I'm not spending anything on the training at EXP, and I have so much more opportunity to be able to utilize so many different kinds of training. It's absolutely amazing.
I keep leaving you. I have poor internet today. Ugh.
Yeah, every once in a while you kind of freeze up. It's totally fine.
And then you'll just talk when I do. Unfortunately, I'm still displaced. I still don't have power. And so my mom's house is as good as it gets. And it's kind of like a lot of people on the internet today.
You didn't tell them that you were meeting with me today and you needed full Wi-Fi
I
all
mean,
the
I feel like they knew that, but for some reason they just didn't, cooperate. They're probably, it's a snow day on top of it, so they're probably trying to keep the
have
kids
nothing else to do.
chilled out.
That makes
Okay, so one thing that you mentioned, because I want to make sure that we don't paint a picture. I mean, I don't think EXP is for every agent, just probably 9 out of 10. And so, what are you showing me? Myself over there? So I do want to say one of the downfalls I think that we're trying to do a better job helping agents with is that when you come over, it's almost like drinking from a fire hose because there is so much information, right?
information overload. The world, oh my gosh. Getting into the world, that was something else. So that was a little different. And I have to admit, I went into my first meeting with our New Mexico state meeting that we had, and they tell you exactly where to go and what to do and all of this. And I finally figure out how to get to New Mexico. And I go in and I'm like wandering around. I see that there's people standing there, but I was kind of creeped out. So I'm like, I don't want to go talk to them. I don't even know who they are. So I wander off and I just go into this weird room and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but the training doesn't start quite yet. So I sat down and just sat there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I think people are watching me. Oh, the dance party is a lot of fun. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. But it took me a long time to figure that one out too. So that was a lot of fun. But the amount of stuff, like the amount of emails that I got when I first started and just figuring out where I go to find out what information, I'm still navigating through it. I figured it out for the most part, but there's certain things that I'm like, oh, wait, how do I know where to find that? So just kind of clicking around and figuring it out. But I mean, the amount, you don't have to utilize everything. You could just use what you need. And so that's the cool part is that, I mean, there is what you absolutely have to use.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that's really important for people to know is, with EXP's expectation on a sponsor is simply to, that is the person who was most responsible for helping you come. But the beautiful thing about EXP and the agents within it is that that's not where we want to exist. I don't want to just say, oh, Tabitha, I told you all about EXP and now like have a great life in EXP. I actually want to be part of, that bringing you in. And what I always call that the EXP pillar plus, because EXP in itself, EXP is a company that is an amazing company, so much value. And then the plus pillar is everything that your partners that you align with are coming. And what I love is that Tabitha has made a decision. And again, it looks different for every single person. I would say probably only 20% of agents that come over to EXP have attraction goals, right? The bulk of them are coming to have a more robust, more profitable production business. But for those that are saying, hey, I want to do attraction simultaneously, they're building their foundation on becoming a sponsor. And Tabitha from day one, I mean, she is not even, I think, 60 days in with us, maybe. And yeah, so, and she's already brought Crystal on. And what she's doing is she's building out her process so that when somebody does raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested, not only is she that facilitator of information, but then she's the person that stands in front of the fire hydrant and makes sure that she takes the hit and is like, hey, no, let me digest the water for you. And I'll just give you a straw so that you can tap into what's applicable to you. So I'm excited about that. Are you ready to, I mean, you just went all in, like you were like, I'm getting hit, but I'm ready to bring somebody on.
Yeah, I didn't. And you know what's funny? Crystal is awesome because she's been so patient with me in certain things where, like, she called me yesterday. She was trying to get into the orientation in the world. And she's like, I'm like out feeding my horses and talking to her at the same time. And she's asking me, and I'm like, girl, I don't know. I know that there's like something on the left-hand side and you got to go to the state. And I'm trying to figure it out just offhand. And I'm like, running in the house and I'm all, hold on, let me just get on really quick. But it's true. There's so much information. There's so much opportunity, but just finding all the right information. You know what I've realized? One of the big takeaways as far as like moving to EXP is watching some other EXP agents that aren't within like our group, but watching other ones in other groups and seeing different things that they've said. A lot of them wish that they would have been in a certain downline. And I've noticed that that really is huge. You know, you don't, when you move to a brokerage, you usually pick like your qualifying broker is the determining factor, or the company. But in this case, it's who your upline is and who you have access to. And some of these uplines really are not like, not to say that they're small time, because they're not, but they're not like these big crazy producers like Kyle Whistle and all of them. It's like watching what they have to offer, like Lauren Taylor, it's amazing. And we get all of this information from all of these different sources of these crazy, crazy top producers. Whereas some people who have moved to EXP don't have that kind of upline. So it's kind of interesting to watch, because it really is a big deal who you follow and who you're under.
Yeah, without a doubt. The power in the sponsor is huge, because those are the people that are further incentivized. I will say again, just speaking on myself, I've been guilty of kind of like, why do I want to sharpen my competitor? Obviously, then I go back to biblical principles, and iron sharpens iron. And so I try to be better, but it's everybody's incentivized to win, but then your upline partners are incentivized at a higher level, which just unlocks, yeah. And so it unlocks collaboration in every level, but it just, some level, some groups, you know, we're powered by Mega Agent Collective is powered by the Fast Forward movement, which is the largest producing group inside. And so what I like to say about us is, you know, we don't create like the production support, the social media presence support, the lead generation, all of that. There's somebody that does that better than me. I'm not going to show up here and tell you, you know, I mean, I can do it well, but I can tap you into somebody that does it a heck of a lot better than me within our group. But what we've kind of created is like the heart, like we're you know, we bring the heart and the community. And so that's what I love too, is that we can kind of just lean into our people that way. But it was funny because when you were sharing that you were running back for the world, the other people that come to my mind are really EXP staff. So I also was so weirded out in the world, and I was like, this is so weird. I have an avatar, and I had an accounting meeting, because funny story is EXP does at commission pay, like they'll pay you at the commission table, you know, through title. And I never experienced that in my state before. So when I first came to EXP, I came over with some transactions, and I think I was here like a week, and they paid me, and the escrow company cut my check. And I hadn't even done like my green sheet to do my splits or anything. And so I was like freaking out. I was like, wait a minute, I just got overpaid, and I got paid too fast. First time ever happened that the brokerage paid me too fast. So I had a meeting in the world with the accounting department. And, you know, we went through the whole thing, met my payment processor, all that good stuff. And then I was like, all right, thank you. 100% resolved, everything great. Sorry, I muted myself. They were like, no, Randy, that's not how we finish meetings in the world. And then that's when they taught me how to dance. And it was so funny, you know, because I meet all these people virtually. I talk to them all the time. My broker, I met him in Vegas this year. I was expecting like a 6 foot tall guy. He's like 5 feet tall, but super fun. And then it was really funny because the staff was like, oh my gosh, Randy, hi. And so in Vegas, I was so weirded out because I was like, I cannot match your face to your avatar. I have no idea who you are.
You don't look anything like your avatar.
Right. You know what's so funny is the other day I went to the world. So just so you know, if you're like, what the heck is the world? There's somebody at the front, and you can say literally anything. I give tours, and I just walk up and say, I'm giving a tour, and I just want to show them how easy it is to ask any question. And I'll ask them any question, and they point me in the right direction. But I walked into my stateroom to ask something, and she was like, hey, Randy. And I've been here 3 years, but it was that moment that really hit me that this is still very much equal to my brick and mortar. That was Kira. She works for she's on the Nevada administrative team. Like, and she was like, I'm so sorry. Like, she totally, and I was like, I have a relationship with Kira, but like it had never hit me before because we do so much virtually and remotely. And I was like, that's so cool. But it took me like years to realize that.
So it's funny because the first time when I went in, I think it was for one of my meetings, and Stephanie was one of the ones that was my onboarding person. And she goes, hey, Tabitha. And I'm like looking around, and I'm like, who's talking to me? How do I even talk back? And I couldn't figure it out. And finally, I'm like, oh, unmute yourself. And I'm like, hi. But it was really cool because you're right. It's like walking into an office, and everybody's just there, and everybody, you know, and says hi to you, and you can sit there and just chit chat for as long as you want, like you're standing at the front desk. or at the water cooler.
Yep. Yep. But again, it's just that expanded version of everything, right? Because now it's not like, okay, it's the front office admin that my broker hired who I really, really love. And I hope she never moves away or anything ever changes.
Yeah.
Now it's the person who has their own life in Minnesota, but works for Nevada. You know what I mean? It's just really cool.
Yes.
Well, I feel like you and I obviously could talk all day long, and Crystal is still chiming in here. Nisha just said, you feel embarrassed for your avatar. It's strange in the beginning. It is, but then you become a brat like me. Shannon was agreeing with something we said at some point, but Shannon and I were in the same state meeting. And I saw her because the avatar says your name right above it. So we were in the same state meeting, and I walked up to Shannon and I started like dancing and doing all this stuff in front of her. And then I like kept trying to sit on her lap. And I'm like, has anybody got kicked out of a state meeting? Because I might, I might be the first one. But I love it. I mean, we have culture, we have community, we have training, and we have individualized success paths for whatever it is that you want to do within EXP. So I just cannot tell you how thankful I am that I landed in EXP, but even more than that, I am so thankful that, you know, industry leading top producers and professionals such as yourself across the country would give me the honor of getting to be that upline partner to you and just trusting me for me, you know, and I appreciate that so much. And I get to see you in real life next week in San Diego.
I'm so excited.
Yes, yes. This is where everybody else should get FOMO, because if your business doesn't look like this, you're probably doing it wrong. But we get to travel to beautiful, sunny San Diego and stay in a gorgeous Airbnb overlooking the city and the ocean. And we're just going to spend 3 days doing a deep dive on how we can impact agents' business in this industry and just continue to level up our industry, and how at the same token we can win in doing that. So super excited, friend. Well, thank you so much. And I will see you very soon.
Yes, definitely. Thank you,
Oh,
Randy.
wait, one second. I can't in this. Okay. So if you have referrals in New Mexico in the Albuquerque area, I'm telling you, Tabitha is your girl. She's going to serve them with a level of heart and commitment. So on that note, how would somebody hand you a referral or get in connection with you?
You can actually just call or text me. My number is 505-835-4663. And actually just putting me into a group message would be ideal to send over a referral, but you could just call me and give me some information and I'll reach out to them.
And Connie is saying that you are amazing. I agree.
Thank you.
I agree. And Crystal's saying Tabitha is all about solutions all the time. So love it. And definitely our partner in the New Mexico area, Albuquerque, New Mexico, right? I'm trying to learn all my Arizona. I butcher. I send referrals to the wrong part of Arizona like 6 times a month.
No, yeah, Albuquerque and surrounding areas. So I go pretty far. I just don't do Santa Fe.
Perfect.
Santa Fe is probably the closest to us, but I don't do it.
Well, I think a Mac map is in the future. I think in the future we'll have a Mac map so we can just click and find all of our people.
They have it for the home warranty company. Might as well.
Yes, let's make it happen. I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much, Tabitha. And thank you guys for tuning in and meeting another one of our partners at the Mega Agent Collective with EXP. If you have any questions or you're EXP curious, you can always just book a call at expchat.com or reach out to any of our leaders like Tabitha. So thanks, guys, for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, friend.